Europe's cities are changing in ways few could have imagined a few decades ago. From the bustling markets of Berlin to the call to prayer echoing in Paris, Muslim culture is leaving an indelible mark on urban life. But what does this transformation mean? For some, it's a story of cultural enrichment, where diverse traditions blend seamlessly. For others, it raises questions about identity, integration, and the future of European society. Are we witnessing the dawn of a new multicultural Europe, or a growing cultural divide? In this video, we'll explore how Muslim culture is reshaping Europe's cities. The 2015 European migrant crisis became a defining moment as millions of refugees and asylum seekers, many from Muslim-majority countries like Syria, Afghanistan, and Iraq, arrived seeking safety and opportunity. Images of overcrowded boats on the Mediterranean and people walking for miles along European highways dominated global headlines. While some European nations opened their arms, others expressed fear of losing their cultural identity. The influx of people brought challenges and opportunities. In cities like Berlin and Vienna, new arrivals revitalized struggling neighborhoods with bustling markets, cafes, and shops reflecting their heritage. Yet, integration posed its own hurdles. Language barriers, employment struggles, and societal prejudice created divisions that still linger today. This migration wave has permanently altered Europe's demographic landscape, setting the stage for the cultural transformations we see today. From London to Stockholm, the story of Muslim migration continues to unfold, influencing not just the makeup of European cities, but their very essence. As Muslim communities have settled in European cities over the decades, their cultural influence has been undeniable, reshaping the urban landscape in ways that cannot be ignored. From food to fashion, religion, and art, the impact is visible and widespread, creating a unique blend of European and Muslim cultures that's reshaping the continent's cities. But how exactly has Muslim culture transformed urban life? One of the most visible impacts has been on the food scene. Across Europe, halal restaurants, butcher shops, and bakeries have become staple parts of city life. In cities like London, Paris, and Berlin, halal food options aren't just for Muslims, they're enjoyed by people of all backgrounds. The explosion of Middle Eastern and North African eateries has created a fusion of flavors that dominate the food culture. From shawarma joints in Paris to kebab shops in Berlin, Muslim communities have helped redefine European street food. It's not unusual to see the line between cultural boundaries blurring, with non-Muslim Europeans flocking to these businesses, proving that cultural integration can lead to exciting culinary innovation. The rise of Muslim populations has also led to the growing visibility of Islam in public spaces, most notably through the construction of mosques. Cities like London, Brussels, and Paris now feature large mosques, which serve as cultural hubs as well as places of worship. However, the expansion of these mosques has not been without controversy. In France, for example, the construction of mosques has often been a point of political debate, with critics arguing that these structures threaten the secular fabric of the country. These mosques undeniably symbolize the cultural integration and permanence of Muslim communities. Muslim culture's impact on European fashion is another clear sign of transformation. The popularity of hijabs, abayas, and modest fashion has surged, not just among Muslims, but across Europe's fashion-conscious youth. Cities like Milan and Paris have even hosted fashion shows dedicated to Islamic fashion. Designers are tapping into a growing market for modest yet stylish clothing, fusing traditional Islamic garments with modern trends. The mainstream acceptance of the hijab in Europe, once a controversial symbol, now appears in fashion magazines, advertising campaigns, and even on the runway. Documentaries on Islamic fashion, such as those aired on Al Jazeera, show how Muslim women are asserting their identity and gaining visibility through fashion. These developments demonstrate how fashion has become a tool for cultural expression, breaking down barriers and challenging Western ideas of beauty and modesty. Lastly, Muslim culture's impact on European music, art, and media cannot be overstated. Muslim rappers, artists, and actors are increasingly gaining recognition in the mainstream, from the world of music to film. Artists like French-Algerian rapper MC Solar or British-Pakistani actor Riz Ahmed are not only breaking stereotypes but are also changing the cultural landscape. Art exhibits showcasing Islamic history, combined with modern expressions, are becoming a common sight in galleries throughout Europe. These exhibitions celebrate the richness of Islamic culture, offering new perspectives on its global influence. Meanwhile, movies, television shows, and documentaries are exploring themes of migration, identity, and integration through the lens of Muslim experiences, as seen in documentaries like Islam, The Art of Living or Inside Europe's Refugee Crisis. The integration of Muslim culture into European arts, entertainment, and fashion reflects how deeply these communities have affected European urban life. Their influence has created a more diverse and vibrant culture, while also challenging traditional ideas of identity and belonging. The integration of large numbers of Muslim immigrants and refugees has presented complex social and political challenges, raising questions about identity, citizenship, and the future of Europe itself. These tensions are not new, but in recent years, they have reached a boiling point as European societies struggle to reconcile their values with the realities of multiculturalism. One of the most significant challenges that Muslim communities face in Europe today is rising Islamophobia. Across the continent, there has been a marked increase in anti-Muslim sentiment, fueled by fears of terrorism, radicalization, and cultural change. The attacks in Paris, Brussels, and London, often linked to extremists claiming to act in the name of Islam, have further deepened these fears, leading to a backlash against Muslims. Far-right political movements, such as France's National Rally or Germany's Alternative for Germany, AfD, have gained significant traction by capitalizing on these fears. These parties have made opposition to immigration and Islam a central tenet of their platforms, arguing that Muslim communities pose a threat to European values of secularism, freedom, and integration. Their rhetoric often focuses on the perceived clash between Islamic values and Western ones, portraying Muslims as a monolithic, foreign threat to European culture. At the heart of the debate surrounding Muslim communities in Europe is the question of integration versus multiculturalism. While some European leaders advocate for the assimilation of Muslim migrants into European societies, others champion multiculturalism, the idea that different cultures can coexist while maintaining their distinct identities. This ideological divide has led to significant political and social tensions. Countries like France, with its staunch commitment to secularism, have struggled with the visible presence of Islam in public life. The wearing of the hijab, for example, has become a flashpoint. France's 2004 ban on religious symbols in schools, which included the hijab, and the more recent debates over banning the burqa and niqab, have sparked heated discussions about freedom, identity, and the role of religion in public life. In contrast, countries like the United Kingdom have taken a more multicultural approach, where the wearing of religious symbols, including the hijab, is generally accepted. However, this has also led to accusations of parallel societies, where Muslim communities live in isolation, with limited interaction with the broader society. Critics argue that multiculturalism has led to segregation and a lack of cohesion in British society, as seen in the ghettoization of some Muslim communities in cities like Birmingham and Bradford. While the vast majority of Muslims in Europe are peaceful and law-abiding citizens, the rise of jihadist terror groups such as ISIS has cast a shadow over Muslim communities. Terrorist attacks in Paris, Brussels, and London, often carried out by individuals who were born or raised in Europe, have led to widespread fear and mistrust. While many European governments have focused on counterterrorism efforts, they have also been criticized for unfairly targeting Muslim communities, creating a sense of distrust between law enforcement and the very groups they aim to protect. The challenge, as shown in multiple interviews with Muslim leaders and activists, is balancing national security concerns with the protection of civil liberties and preventing the stigmatization of entire communities. As Europe faces the ongoing transformation of its cities, the future of Muslim culture on the continent is both exciting and uncertain. The question is no longer whether Muslim communities will continue to shape Europe, but how they will do so in the coming decades. With changing demographics, evolving politics, and shifting social dynamics, the future promises new challenges and opportunities for integration, identity, and coexistence. One of the most promising aspects of the future is the increasing prominence of young, educated Muslims who are redefining their place in European societies. In cities like London, Berlin, and Amsterdam, Muslim professionals, entrepreneurs, and activists are leading the charge for positive change. They are not just participating in the European workforce, they are shaping it. From tech startups to cultural initiatives, young Muslims are becoming key drivers of innovation, breaking down stereotypes, and bridging gaps between cultures. This generation, more than any before, sees itself as part of the European fabric, not separate from it. However, the road ahead will not be without its challenges. Despite growing efforts for integration, there are still significant barriers to overcome, including prejudice, discrimination, and political opposition. Far-right movements continue to push against the idea of a truly multicultural Europe, arguing that Muslim culture threatens the continent's values. Yet, as more Muslim communities become politically and economically engaged, they will increasingly push back against these narratives, demanding their rightful place in the European story. The role of Muslim culture in European cities will also continue to expand through cultural institutions, media, and public life. As European cities become more diverse, Islamic art, music, literature, and fashion will increasingly influence mainstream culture, contributing to a more inclusive and globally connected Europe. In the end, the future of Muslim culture in Europe lies in finding common ground, celebrating diversity without sacrificing unity. If successful, Europe's cities will emerge as truly global hubs, where cultural exchange and understanding flourish, enriching the lives of all who call them home. Thanks for watching. If you found this video thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on how cultures are shaping our world. Drop your comments below, and let's keep the conversation going.